My Land Rover Discovery has by far the most brittle plastic that I've ever come across, so I'm going to give you 8-ish tips to get you plastic welding like a pro. Tip number 1 is to keep it stupidly simple. If you're not a professional body man, or body woman, body person, if you're not doing this for a living, you don't need a professional tool like a $600+ hot air kit. Now, I'm sure it's a great kit, but most general repairs can be done without it. If you're a tool hoarder / tool collector like me, you probably have an old soldering iron or a wood burning kit that you can pilfer to use for plastic welding. If not, you can get a wood burning kit cheap on Amazon, link is in the description below. Hell, I've even kept it as simple as heating up a small screwdriver with a propane torch to make an emergency repair on a broken honey bottle lid, because honestly, what other option did I really have? Tip number 2 is to clean the part you're working on. You should wipe down the part with a little IPA, and by IPA I mean rubbing alcohol, and not that craft beer your buddy won't shut up about that smells like a grapefruit's armpit. Tip 3 is to start with a tack. Just like welding metal, you want to tack weld your plastic. You don't want to go through the whole weld only to flip the part over and realize that it's more uneven than the power dynamic between you and your wife. Tip 4 is to use the same kind of plastic for your repair. You'll want to add some material to increase the strength, and the best way to do that is with the same type of plastic. You can't weld steel together with aluminum wire, just like you can't weld ABS together with HDPE. Since we're melting plastic here, tip number 5 is to have a fan nearby and work in a well-ventilated area. This stuff seriously stinks. Tip number 6 is to back that thing up. If you want a good repair, you're going to have to reinforce it. I have a stainless steel mesh left over from another project, and even though it's a little fine as far as the mesh count goes, it'll work just fine.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
You want the mesh to be stainless so you don't have to worry about it breaking down due to corrosion. Heat up the mesh and sink it down into the part, and then go over the area with some additional material to add some thickness and strength. Since this is the back of the part, you don't have to worry about it looking pretty. Continue to do this over the entire repair and even beyond. Once you're happy with the backside, you'll want to move on to the front.
That's what she said!
Sand the entire repair area and fill any large holes or voids. I'm a dumbass and started using a chunk of the grille as a scrap piece of filler, so now I have a big hole that I need to fill in. After that, you'll want to melt the crack along the front side, followed up with some more plastic to add back some material. What you're left with might not win any beauty contest, but trust me, it'll all be okay in the end. Next, sand the entire area smooth. I'm using 120 grit on a DA with very light pressure, making sure not to stay in the same area for too long. You'll probably end up uncovering a few load spots in areas that you didn't get good stiction between the filler and the repair, but that's a great segue into tip number 7, and that's to use some sort of filler. There are special flexible fillers made for plastic bumpers, but this grill doesn't flex in the least bit. Any bending and all, and this thing will crack like a piece of uncooked spaghetti.
What the fuck are you doing? Get out of my kitchen! Get the fuck out of my kitchen!
For that reason, I'm using a general purpose filler with a fast cure time. You might think that I'm putting it on a little thick like cake icing, but I end up sanding almost all of it off later. If you're concerned about flatness on the part, you're going to want to go ahead and use a block sander and not a DA. Step 8 isn't possible for every part, but if you can make it work, use a textured paint. I like this rocker guard made by Duplicolor. It lays on nice and has a great texture when it dries. It's available in most part stores, but another good option is Trim Black by SCM. Now you may be wondering about the big chunk of grill that's missing along the top. Once the hood is closed, you can't see that part, but I appreciate your concern. And there you have it. It's a lot better than it was before, and unless you open the hood, you wouldn't even know that it's been repaired. You can get great results with simple tools, some planning, and a little time. Keep grinding away on those projects, stay lucid, and I'll see you in the next one.